Welcome back to my channel. Today I have another tutorial for you, and it is for this sunset inspired look. I have already primed my eyelids and done my eyebrows off camera, and now I am going in with creme brulee from Makeup Geek. We're going to be creating a spotlight or halo eye, so I am taking my transition color all the way into the inner corner of my eye and running it through my crease. I want to create a all over kind of smoked out effect of this orangey base color. Next I'm going to go in with Frappe from Makeup Geek, and I'm just going to go into the exact same area that I already did, just a little bit lower down. We're going to be using quite a few different shades of this kind of burnt orange color. We want to create quite a bit of depth for this eye look, so we're going to be piling on a bunch of different shadows and blending them out thoroughly. As well, the darker the color, the more focused on the inner and outer corner it's going to be. I want to create that halo effect, so with this color I'm placing it more in the outer and inner corner and then blending it through the crease. Now I'm going to go in with Cocoa Bear from Makeup Geek, and I'm going to do the exact same process with a smaller crease brush and then a dense crease brush. I kind of switch between the brushes because I want to create enough depth and I want the color to really show up in those two corners, but then I wanted to blend it out as well. So I'm placing it in the two corners and then blending it out thoroughly towards the middle of the crease to create kind of a shadow on each end that will link in the middle. I'm also making sure to work with really small amounts of shadow. I want to build this up, but you don't want to start with too much and then not be able to blend it out and lose your halo effect. So it's key to take tiny bits of shadow and build it up from there. This look was inspired by the perfect fall sunset and the kind of gradient you see in the orange and red tones that are in that fall sunset. So as with all of my looks, it's incredibly important to create that gradient and really buff things out and make sure you have a smooth transition from shade to shade to shade, and that will reflect what a sunset really looks like. Now I've got the base of that eye going. I'm going to take my brush and spray it with a little bit of finishing spray and then dip into Roulette from Makeup Geek. This is going to be our spotlight shade, so the shade that sits just in the center of the lid and catches the most light. This is the only shimmer shade we're using, and it is a gorgeous coppery orange shimmer with a gold reflect. I absolutely love it. It's stunning. So we're just taking that on a small brush and we're packing it onto the center of the lid. And don't worry about being too messy because we're going to blend it out. Just remember to keep this shade right in the center of the lid. That's kind of how a halo or spotlight eye works. You have your matte shades all around and then a shimmer shade right in the center, the very center of the lid that you can blend out the edges, but you're not going to blend it out and buff it out so it covers the entire lid. Now that we've got our spotlight shade on, we're going to go back in with Cocoa Bear to really deepen up that inner and outer corner. And this is when you're going to really focus on creating a lot of depth. So you're going to go in and apply more until you're really happy with how much shadow you have on the outsides. Now that I'm kind of happy with how much depth I have going on, I'm going to go in with Mocha from Makeup Geek. And I'm taking this on a pencil brush just in the outer corner, and I'm actually outlining the outer V. So I'm really pressing into that corner and finding the outer V of my eye socket and highlighting just that with that deep brown color. I'm not going to take this into the inner corner because we don't want to make our eyes look smaller, but we do want to keep the halo effect. I'm then going in with that small crease brush from before and no additional product, just to buff out that deep brown color. Then I'm taking a makeup wipe and just wrapped around my finger. I'm going to wipe off any fallout or excess and create a sharp line in the corner of my eye. This is a really great trick for creating that kind of cat eye effect without any of the work. And it's also great because you can use it as a guide or an outline for your liner. Next, I'm going in with my one and only Kat Von D tattoo liner in the shade Trooper, which is just black. And I'm creating a very thin line along my lashes, and then I'm going to create a pretty thick wing. And you can see what I mean about creating a guide for your eyeliner. By taking away all that excess shadow, you're leaving a sharp line that you can use to basically fill in the lines and color inside the lines for your eyeliner. It makes it really, really easy, and it's so easy to get a nice sharp wing. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. You can always go back in with that makeup wipe and clean up the edges or make the point a little bit sharper. I really love how you can see just a little tiny bit of that deep brown shadow peeking through from under the liner, but the main focus of the eye is the halo. That dark brown didn't take away any of the fun effect. It just kind of added a little bit of depth, and that's what I love about this look. And of course, I know I wear liner in every single tutorial, but it's like my kind of trademark, I guess. I love a good cat wing, and I just can't get enough of it. Once I have finished my wings, we're going to move on to face, and I'm going to prime with my Mercier foundation primer in Radiance, and of course a little spritz of my Skindinavia primer spray. Then we're going to go in with my new favorite foundation, which is the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Foundation. This stuff is so good. I absolutely love the consistency of it, and it's really buildable and just blends in so well with your skin. So I'm using it in the shade Porcelain, and I am just applying that with my Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge. You can see I'm really making an effort to press the foundation into my skin. I've kind of learned over the last little while that I can apply a foundation quickly and just kind of bounce it on, but it doesn't go into the skin as nicely and as flawlessly as it does when you take the time to really roll the product into your skin. So that's something I've really been enjoying doing lately, and I think it makes a huge difference in how my skin looks. And what you're seeing now is one layer of foundation, so you can see what the coverage it provides is. And now I'm applying a second layer onto the places where I need it. And you can see it blends in so well and doesn't look cakey or fake at all. Now we're going to move on to concealer, and for any blemishes and discoloration, I'm using my NYX Above and Beyond Full Coverage Concealer and my e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush, which is my favorite brush for applying concealer. And I'm just dotting this onto any places that I need it. Then I'm going to go under my eyes with the Superstay Better Skin Concealer, and this is in Porcelain as well. And I'm just going to draw my triangles underneath my eyes and blend them in with my favorite Morphe brush. I really love this concealer as well as the foundation. It's got such a nice lightweight kind of gel consistency, and it's about medium coverage. So if you're looking for something for every day, just amazing for throwing on, this is the concealer for you. If you're into something a little bit more full coverage, you can build it up, or you can add to it with another concealer. I actually love to combine this concealer with my Maybelline Master Conceal Concealer, and the combination of the two of them just provides like seriously flawless full coverage under eyes. It's pretty amazing. Once all of my concealer is blended out, I'm going to go in and set my under eyes and everywhere else with my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. This is my go-to ride or die setting powder. It just really brightens and adds a little bit of life to your under eyes. I'm then going to go in with my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Luminous Light, and I'm going to set the rest of my face where I haven't used the Secret Brightening Powder. I just think that this is such a beautiful finishing powder because it adds a nice luminosity to your skin and kind of like an inside-out glow. It's beautiful. Then curling my lashes, of course, and then going in with my current favorite mascara, which is the L'Oreal Voluminous Original. If you love volume, this is such a good mascara for you. It's such a simple mascara. It doesn't have any bells or whistles, but it really delivers on huge lashes, and they look really thick and really kind of perfectly curled and just beautiful. So I'm loving this mascara. I'm so glad that I tried it. Then I'm going to wipe away any excess powder that's kind of left over from that Secret Brightening Powder and move on to contouring and bronzing. As always, I'm using my Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Kit, and I'm going to take the middle shade, which you can see has been well loved, and I'm going to bronze up my face, focusing on the perimeter, so my cheeks, my forehead, my neck, all of those sorts of places. And I'm using my Real Techniques blush brush, which is my favorite brush for applying bronzer. You'll see that once I'm done with the majority of my face, I'm actually going to take the brush and kind of run it over the middle of my face. So my nose, my kind of middle of my forehead, my chin, all of that. That's just to get everything kind of smooth together and cohesive. Then I'm going to use the lightest shade in the palette and my Morphe contouring brush, and I'm going to carve out those cheekbones. I've gotten into the habit of applying my contour higher than I normally would. I actually start it about ½ an inch above the top of my ear and then come down towards the corner of my mouth. And I found that this is really slimming and really brings your cheekbones to life. Then I'm going to switch to my Real Techniques contour brush, and I use this to contour my temples and my jawline. Also, a tip for us girls who have rounder faces: when you're contouring your jawline, start behind your ear. If you start behind your ear and contour all the way to the tip of your chin, you're bringing your face in and making it look slimmer. And of course, now I'm going on to contouring my nose, which is my new favorite thing to do. And I'm just using a Sonia Kashuk crease brush to do this. If you haven't tried contouring your nose, you need to try it. I never knew how much I needed to contour my nose and how much I would love it until I did it, so give it a try. Now I'm going to go in and highlight, and I'm using my Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop and a fan brush, and I'm just going to run that along the tops of my cheekbones, right above my eyebrows, the center of my nose, and the tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow, and my chin. And I always highlight before I apply blush now, just because I think that the blush and the highlight blend together a little bit better when you do that. And I wanted to keep my blush rather simple, so I'm using the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Exposed, which is a beautiful mauve nude, and I'm just going to apply that with a stippling brush. Now going back to finish up the eyes, I'm going to mimic what I did on the upper lid, just along the lower lashes. So I'm going to take Frappe and then Cocoa Bear, and I'm going to smudge that into the inner and outer corner. Then I'm going to go in with Mocha, and I'm going to put that on just the outer corner. And then I'm also going to take the center shimmer shade, which is Roulette, and I'm going to put that right in the center of the lower lash line. And then the final step is to take Champagne Pop and place that in my inner corner and on my brow bone to highlight. And for lips, we're going to take the NYX Slim Lip Liner in the shade Mauve and just outline my lips. I'm going to use a liquid lipstick, so I like to line my lips and fill them in about halfway, just so in case the liquid lipstick fades or smudges or comes off, then I won't look really silly. And the lipstick we're going to use is Colourpop's Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Vapor, which is my new obsession. It is a gorgeous mauvey nude, but with a very warm base. It just is stunning. I can't get enough of this color. And it's perfect with this eye look. It kind of reflects the tones without being too overwhelming and taking away the attention. So I love it. And I love these lipsticks too. They're such a great formula. If you haven't tried them, you really should. And that is everything for this tutorial. I really hope that you liked it and you're feeling inspired for fall. If there are any fall looks you'd like to see, just let me know and I will make sure to do them. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and have a great day. Bye!